Hakuna Matata. So I don't have much to show for progress on the bus that would be worth seeing. Although I do have one toolbox or compartment completely installed, final installed. All the brackets are painted. I stopped off at Home Depot today and picked up some extra bolts, which are right here, 1/4 of an inch longer, so that way the lock nuts actually fully engage on the threads. The bolts I have are just a tad short, so I'm going to replace those bolts. I finished installing that plate between the left rear wheel and the air conditioner. I don't feel like showing you that right now. It's probably dark outside. But to keep myself busy tonight, well, let me back up a little bit. These Rigid Tool Company guys pack a great warranty. This is my brand new battery charger that came in the mail today. And then I had a bit of an epiphany. I like that word, epiphany. This is a part off the old battery charger. It's basically this piece from the old charger, which I've already taken the thing apart, threw the case away in the garbage. But this piece slides right into the batteries, and I've got these really cool little connectors that are part of it, and they just slip in this little hole here, kind of like something like this, right? And then when you push this in, it engages on the contacts in there. So I already have, it's in my bedroom right now, it's a headlight I made for my bicycle. It sits on that rack right there. And I used to have this light on it, but it was too bright. And I mean, cars would flash their high beams at me when I was going down the road with this thing at night. And it was draining my battery pretty quickly. What I found out was the problem with my battery draining quickly, I'm pretty sure, was because my old charger wasn't fully charging up the batteries. So I'm going to play with this again, and I actually could just reinstall this on my bike light, but I don't want to mess with that. So on my bike light, I had to make this piece with these little connectors, and gosh, that was like a really big deal. And to get something that would slide up in here perfect and line up everything, it was tough. It was an all-day project just to make the bracket that the battery would clip into. So anyway, now that I've got this piece and it's so perfect, all I need to do is get a piece of something to attach that'll come back to here, that these little guys will engage in, so that way when I slide this in, it locks just like it does on the drill or anything else that I have. I actually have a Rigid flashlight that I bought for, I think it was like $20 or something. It looks great, but the light is just freaking anemic as hell. It's like just like a little consumer flashlight. I mean, give me a break, man. If I got this big old 18 volt, like 3 ampere hour battery, I want a light, man. So, I mean, I thought about modifying this thing, but I mean, the thing does work okay, you know, so I'm not going to mess with that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to make another bracket out of this guy. I was thinking about using, I have some 1/4 inch plexiglass. This would actually be the preferred, because I could make that plexiglass fit across the top of this and put maybe even these original screws back in to bolt the plexiglass to the bracket and cut it to fit in here just right, and have a little slot in it, and it would slide on there, and have an overhang that I can bolt the light to. And it would be absolutely perfect, but there's no room for a switch anywhere. So the only thing I could do is, I mean, I could like unplug it to turn it off and plug it back in to turn it on. I mean, that's an option anyway. Anyway, I've got this little switch, little push on, push off, and it just barely fits in this space. But if I drill a hole to put this in there, the hole is going to be like within 30 thousandths of an inch from the top edge. And I think that's just going to be too easy to break. Can't really decide what I want to do here. I mean, that would be, I don't want to mess this up because this looks so nice. I was looking at little sub-miniature toggle switch. Some of those switches, I could drill a hole in there. I just looked one up, and it was this 15/64 is the size of the hole that you would drill in something to install the switch. And I could use that. That would work, but I gotta buy it. It's like, I don't know, $10 on Amazon to buy a pack of, I don't know, 5 of them or something. I was looking around through all my goodies. I found this ancient remote control stuff. God, this is old. This has got to be 30 plus years old. But anyway, I found these little slider switches. And this is a nice, strong, robust switch, but it's too thick, too wide to fit in that space. I mean, I could put it underneath on the plexiglass, but then the back of the switch, I think I got 2 of them in here. Yeah, I got 2 of them in here. Well, it's got this case on it. That would look fairly good. I mean, this one's got even got the screws with it. So this could be sticking up through the plexiglass, and the bottom of the switch could be just down in the air below. Then the only other thing would be the wires. Yeah, I could do that. Maybe we'll do that. So I don't have to buy anything. I just use up these old parts. So let me ponder that idea. Then if I put this switch in the plexiglass, just a tiny bit of the little guy will stick up above, which I kind of like. The only thing questionable would be the back of the switch wires would be somewhat exposed. So if this guy were sitting over here, for example, I could have these wires go through this and through a little hole in here to connect to this. Yeah, that'll work fine. On and off. Well, anyway, that's what we're playing with today, and then I'll have a great work light for working on the bus. I've got this for Christmas, and this guy's pretty nice. It's like 16 little LEDs made into one thing there. And right now I'm using my Eneloop rechargeable batteries. These little AA's. I can kill these working 2 nights on the bus. And right now they're dead. It's just barely lighting up. And I mean, that's all right, but my charger, for whatever reason, is supposed to be a faster charger. It takes all night long to charge 4 of these, and there's 6 of them in here. So I'm kind of like out of business. I mean, it does work on 3 batteries. I mean, I could always be charging 3 and then run on 3 every night I use it. I just not too happy with this. This is a great work light for little incidental stuff, but for the long period that I'm working on the bus at night, it's not really paying it out. But this guy, this is a 3 ampere-hour, I think, battery. It's in here 27 watt hours at 18 and 18 watts divided by, or 27 divided by 18. It's like 1.5 amp hours, I guess. I thought those were more ampere hours than that. But anyway, there's a lot more battery in this than those little guys over there. So, well, this thing does, this is like a car headlight in brightness. So this is going to take more power. So I might get about the same amount of time running that light on this. But I've got 4 of these batteries and now 2 of these chargers. So this will be far more convenient for me. So that's it. That's what we're going to do. Okay, it's a rainy day. So another day of not working on the bus, but I finished my work light. Got pivots here. And it pivots up and down this way. There's a switch. And there's the bezel, I guess you'd call it, or bracket bezel, that on the original charger, that piece was right there. And the wires went through those holes. So here's how it works. Just slip it on the battery. Kind of hard to do with one hand. Okay. And I get a work light. And it's as bright as a car headlight. Pretty much. Oh, let me turn off the light in here. Okay, well, we got the little work light over there. But... all right. Pretty good, huh? Oh, let's compare it. All right, there's a light I just put together. Probably not going to be able to tell. And this guy here, it's got fully charged batteries in it. Let's compare it. It's more of a floodlight, which I don't like as much because it ends up blinding you when you're trying to work on something. So I think this is going to be even better. I'll put the other one back on. Oh yeah. All right. So we got our work light. And just for fun, there's the bracket I made a long time ago. This screw comes off, and these little notches here fit between these things. Or heck, I'll just show you. Hold on. Take the screw off the bottom. Try not to drop it. Okay. And then you put the screw on, and you got a bicycle headlight. Now that big light used to be on this. I bought this. This is a landscaping light I bought that's lower power. so it would have less power consumption. And this works pretty much the same way. I'll show you what I got going on here. Let's take the battery. You slip it in there. That. And then you got your little switch on the side on this one. Let's turn the light off and do a comparison with this little guy. Yeah, very anemic. It's less of a spot and more of a floodlight. That's weaker than this guy. This is even way more of a floodlight, but this is not bad actually. And then here's, yeah man. I might go ahead and get me another one of these guys. Got it on Amazon. It's a truck backup light. It's 18 watts and running on 18 volts, which these batteries are. That would be 1 amp of power. This is a 1.5 ampere hour battery, so theoretically we should get an hour and a half of use with this big light. Now this guy, this little guy, I think is like 6 watts. So a third of the wattage, 3 times the duration. 1.5 times 3 is what, 5 or something? 4.5 volts, 4.5 hours. We would get 4.5 hours out of this little guy. And less time out of that. So there you go. Playing in the garage because the weather's bad. Good night.